XLU is an ETF that's currently on my radar. The reason being we're headed close to our Fibonacci support near 42. In today's video, what I want to do is take you through how to draw these Fibonacci support and resistance levels yourself. I'll show you how to use the Fibonacci extensions tool, and this will be a very quick boot camp, if you will, on the Fibonacci tool. In case you would like to learn a little bit more in depth, you can watch our Fibonacci trading course. It's completely free. And there I have 4 modules which walk you through how to use not just the extensions tool, which is what we'll use in today's video, but also the retracements tool and how to bring that together with clusters. Now, we've already drawn our levels for XLU and I have them on my chart. What I don't have are the levels, the support levels for some of the top holdings. In today's video, let's use the top 4. So we're going to use Nextera, we're going to use Constellation, we're going to use Southern, and we're going to use DUK. These are the 4 stocks, so NEE, CEG, SO, and DUK, and we're going to practice our Fibonacci skills with each of those 4 stocks. Now we start first with NEE, and what I like to do is evaluate what this swing currently is, and if there's any swings that look similar to our current swing. First off, do we even have a swing? And it looks like we do, given that we formed a recent high. And since we formed that high, we've been selling off. Now the question is this sell-off anything similar to what we've seen before? And one trick that I like to use is switch to a larger time frame chart first to get a better big picture overview. Now on the weekly time frame, there's a few swings that stand out. There's this swing to this swing high, there's this swing high to this swing high. Then you have this larger swing in case we were to see a deeper pullback here. And you have a few mini swings along the way to this current swing high that we have. Those are the swings I'm going to use to evaluate and project from our current high to see what is, in this case, NEE's typical personality when we tend to sell off. What is this dollar move? And are we getting anywhere close to the typical move that we tend to make? Now, manually measuring this would be hard, so instead I'm going to take the drawing tools, choose Fibonacci extensions here, and this will allow me to go through the process much quicker. This tool takes 3 points. Point A is your swing high in this case, point B is your swing low, and point C is the high that you would like to extrapolate from. So for example, in this case, we can take our swing high to swing low. We see in this case that distance, if I pull in our trend line tool, is $10.64. We take this swing high and we project down $10.64 and we're taken to 76.89. Now we repeat the same process with these other swings that we identified. This gives us a cluster that gives us an idea of what does, in this case, NEE typically do when it tends to sell off. So we have these micro swings, and then I also have this larger swing here that we can extrapolate. And then we have some of these minor swings that we had also identified, which are swings in this trend that we can use to get an idea of what is the typical personality of NEE. So there's a lot of lines that you see here. Now, from all of these lines, we're trying to find clusters. And in my case, I see 2, maybe 3 very clear clusters. Cluster 1 is right here from 78.31 to about 76. That's cluster 1, which tells you that whenever NEE tends to sell off, we've seen a move of somewhere in the region of $10.64 to about $11.56. The second cluster is near 72.96 to 74.12, and that tells you that the second zone, so if we do see a deeper pullback, is about $14. The third zone, not really a cluster if you will, is 63.15 if we see a similar correction to the one we saw towards the end of 2024 into 2025. Now there weren't as many overlapping clusters here as we had in XLU. If you see XLU, for example, you'll see 40.69, 40.47, and there's actually 2 lines hidden behind here, which gives you an idea of what we're looking for. So NEE, we were able to draw our Fibonacci levels, but you could also make the conclusion that there isn't any strong support or any strong cluster like we have in XLU. Next up, we have Constellation Energy, CEG. Let's go to that. Now, CEG, if you were to zoom out, you should notice that this swing looks not like a real swing yet. It looks like there should be a little bit more compared to what we see in XLU. So that tells me that I shouldn't find as many pieces of symmetry here. In fact, I would need to focus on the smaller swings, swings like this one right here, which we've already broken. And we have this swing as well. That looks like a smaller swing. We've also broken that zone. And then we have this swing right here, which gives us where price is currently trading between. And then we have our larger swing, the one that's a little bit more apparent, closer to 222.05. So Constellation Energy here, if you were to take a look at what momentum is telling you, momentum is saying we should expect more downside. Fibonacci is telling us we've broken these first two levels. Our third level is near 332, which does overlap with the market pulse line. But momentum right now is suggesting a little bit more to the downside, near 222.05. But we are starting to see better clusters. Hopefully, you're also starting to get the hang of how to draw these levels and identify which swings you'd like to project. Next up, we have Southern Company. Now take a look at this, and you should notice that these swings are starting to get a little bit easier. So the larger the swing, hopefully you notice that the more ripe this particular stock looks like for projecting Fibonacci swings. So I'm going to start taking some of the more obvious ones and project them. So in this case, we see that we've already broken past this previous support or what would have been our support using Fibonacci. Let's take our next swing here, swing high to swing low. That gives us 79.11, and in there we also had another swing, if we project that, near 80.97. So two very similar-ish zones. We've projected 1, 2, 3. We have a few more swings that we can still take advantage of. So we have here 4, which we've broken past this. We have our COVID swing as well, which we can use to project. And that gives us an idea of some of the downside levels. So here we have two more levels to the downside, 80.97 and 79. So call it near 80 as the price point that we might use as the magnet. And finally, we move on to DUK Energy. And you'll notice in DUK Energy, I have levels drawn from before. So let me go ahead and clear those out. I'm going to clear this drawing set. And we can start from scratch here. So similar to what we saw in Southern Company, we have deeper swings here. So let's go ahead and project some of these. Here, all of a sudden, we see a little bit better symmetry. We see DUK Energy seems to be making a move akin to what it typically tends to do here. Another swing, swing high to swing low. We project that. That gives us a little bit deeper downside level near 106. We have this swing right here, which we can also project. This is in this downtrend that we had, which was broken, but it gives us an idea of what is the personality of DUK Energy here. So with these swings, we zoom in, 113.98 to 115.98 seems to be the sweet spot. And if XLU as a whole continues to keep breaking down to about 42, maybe even 40.69, Southern Company, we have two levels down here that we're targeting. DUK, we have both the current levels if we just see price chop near 113.98 or 110.57. If we see price just chop near 113.98, that tells you also that DUK Energy has a little bit more strength than some of the other stocks in which we may see deeper corrections here, especially where momentum might be giving you clues for something otherwise. And inside of NEE, we have levels that have yet to get targeted, but we have our downside levels that we know and we're watching for to essentially monitor whenever XLU does pull back into its key levels. We then switch to its top holdings to see where in this Fibonacci symmetry zone we're landing in and look for the edge signal to confirm that support zone. Hope you found this video helpful. Again, for a more in-depth view of not only these Fibonacci levels, but how to use them, be sure to check out our Fibonacci course. It's completely free, 4 modules, which goes much more in depth. But hopefully through this video, you got to see not just XLU's Fibonacci, but we went through 4 different examples drawing the levels from scratch, which gives you an idea of how to identify the right swings and how to draw these Fibonacci levels yourself. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in the next update.